Hey guys, what's up? This is the Demon Corps, and today we'll be talking about LRG, Limited Run Games, the company that we hate, love, or yo in the middle with because, everyone has a hatred with any company, like me, with literally everyone, because I always have issues with all the companies. And for the people who are boycotting, I do respect you a lot for boycotting LRG. I mean, it's justifiable for what happened, and but for me, I don't see the point trying to boycott a company because like if I was going to boycott LRG, then I probably should boycott every company because every company has issues. Like Sony has an issue with censorship. Nintendo has an issue with copyright laws where they will like if they could they would totally do it again, like copyright strike people on YouTube playing their games. You don't believe me? Who still remembers that when Nintendo was like copyright striking people for playing Nintendo games on YouTube because they were losing some form of revenue, and they tried to do some dumb move. So, well, you had to be like a special member to play the games, and that didn't go well, and that just didn't go anywhere. Now you can play the games with it without any issue, but you never know. They could totally go back to the old ways and do it because that's just who they are. I mean, that's Nintendo. Nintendo's very strict, and I have an issue with that. I have no issue with the copyright laws, like let's sell IPs, but they need to know what fair use is. But that's the thing. I think Nintendo doesn't even know what that means. So yeah, that's an issue with my in that area. But they own the IPs, so they can do whatever the hell they want. So that's the only issue I have. But that's all on that area. Xbox. Mostly just because they can't even do jack crap and they have an issue with the proper how they do the PR. The PR department sucks, and I mean that. They really have a bad PR department. Like they had the advertisements for Scorn, and I thought Scorn was really cool, or the trailers, but then they when it came out, it was just like, what is this? Like it was a horror game, but I think I over hyped myself because it looked really good. I think I overexcited myself and I kind of was somewhat disappointed, but that's not like the biggest thing in my opinion. Like they got the advertisement rights to Golem, and yeah, that game's like $10 right now. So if you want to get the physical, buy it maybe digitally. You may want to grab a copy so that if they ever will fix that game, I highly doubt they will. But that's just my issue, and they don't really release really good games, and now all the games are you need to connect to the internet. And if it's like multiplayer stuff, I don't really care. I If the campaign you have to connect to the internet with, I think that's just stupid in my opinion. Everything else can be online. Like I wish all the games were like not story wise, but how they did Halo 5, where you can play the campaign offline, but everything else is online. So I don't have an issue with that. Hey, I can still play the campaign offline, but everything I have to connect to the internet to play multiplayer. And I'm like, cool. So that's just me, but I know some people don't like that. But I mean, hey, at least you get to play a campaign that's somewhat mid, like Halo 5. But you get my point, I hope, with how that works. But I don't know. Xbox has its issues as any company. So for me, even with LRG, like even with Activision, like what happened to all the more sexism that happened at Activision? Did everyone forget about that crap? Like that's the thing. Like all these boycotts are so stupid. That's why I kind of just tell people, so buy the stuff you really want from these companies and just don't like complain all the time. Because there are battles that are worth fighting for, but some are not. That's why I choose my battles wisely. Some people fight every battle, and hey, that's their opinion, but I don't try to do that. But for me, just buy the standard editions from LRG. Don't really buy the collector's editions, and I mean, you'll get your copies fast if it's a standard edition, but I mean, if you're buying a lot of things from them like every like week, then you're gonna probably expect a lot of delays on some of your products because they're gonna try to put a lot of stuff into that bundle because it's gonna be a big box and they're gonna ship it to you. So they kind of probably delay things so that they can put more stuff into that box. Maybe I but there's a lot of things we don't know what really goes on at the Limited Run games because we're all sitting in the chair and saying, "You guys suck because you need to go faster." You're kind of the wheelchair dude who's in the chair watching all this happen. You're like, "Why can't they release stuff faster?" Or the thingamajig. If you know what I mean, you're like, kind of questioning what they're doing, but we don't really know what goes on. And that's the thing, like, if we actually worked there, we probably would have a much different opinion on how things are run at that company. And that's why I try not to judge what goes on at LRG or even strictly limited, because probably stuff happens at those places too that we don't know about. Even super rare games. So all these companies have issues, and I mean, like for people who are still waiting for the collector's editions for the games, that's your fault. You paid the money, and you just gotta suck it up and wait because you bought those things. I mean, I just think it's stupid that people buy these collector's editions. I mean, just buy the standard edition, save your space, get the regular disc edition. Like, it's still valuable. Like, I mean, every game that limited run games releases has a form of value. And I've seen videos and things of people saying, "Aha, they re-released it." Well, those people weren't going for the second print; they were going for the first print. Yeah, you may be having your laughs, but that guy could probably sell that game open for like 150. Like, I've seen Celeste. Like, that was the game that I saw someone laughing at someone who bought the first print and they released a second print. Yeah, I saw that game for 150 and I went back there, it was gone. So, who's had the last laugh? Those games sell. Like, anything LRG releases does sell because of its first print edition and it being released in North America that does make it somehow collectible because it's released in North America, but then there's a copy in Japan that's same thing with multi. It's so weird how the mo gaming industry is. But I mean, it's your opinion what you want to buy from these companies. I can't really tell you what to do. But for me, I mean, the only games I would really buy from them are Xbox games because I mean, when I first found out about LRG, the first thing I looked up was, do they do Xbox? And they didn't. And I was trying to look up why, and it's just because of the physical print one. Xbox just demands a big physical print one. As I said many times before, that's why we don't see, I mean, anything from Neon Falcom or Nice America. Well, mostly Nice America because they're the ones who do all the Neon Falcom stuff. Like even Xseed Games and a couple of other games, a couple of other publishers that you don't really see get release games on Xbox. But when they do, that's pretty like, huh, that's pretty rare to see. That's pretty interesting. That's how I see it, because I know when something's weird because you don't see it. Like like even Blaze Blue. Like we have like Blaze Blue is there was a lot of Blaze Blue games on the 360, and there is one on the Xbox One. I think it's called Infinite something. I think Infinite Stash Extend, I believe. That's what it's called. And there was a physical copy for the Xbox One. And I know some people would be like, well, who cares? It's an Xbox copy. Well, it's pretty weird. It's pretty niche. It's like an anomaly. Like, why would this get a physical release on the Xbox platform? Think about that. It's interesting. And I know some people are like, well, who cares? Well, I care because it's like interesting. Like even Labyrinth of Yaomi, I have a copy of it, and that game started to go up in price. Weirdly enough, and not that much, but it started to price up because the Xbox copy, because that's a dungeon crawler, and dungeon crawlers do not get a physical release on Xbox. I mean, maybe in Japan only, but in North America, dungeon crawlers are very niche, and when we do get them on Xbox physically, you may want to grab a copy because that stuff does go up in price sometimes. But because most people don't like dungeon crawlers, but for me, I'll play them. They're fun, but I know some people don't like them. But yeah, that's just how it is. And with LRG, it's going to be Pacific Xbox games. It's not going to be every. I mean, that's what people probably thought when they saw LRG do like Xbox releases. Everyone thought, oh, it's maybe this will get a physical release or that will. I think it's only going to be the games Xbox owns, like officially like Xbox IPs and Activision IPs, and even Blizzard IPs. Like mostly the companies they own, they'll try to do a physical release by LRG. Like let's just say Halo Spartan Assault and Spawn Strike. Those have not gotten a physical release. Xbox doesn't see the point in making a physical because who's going to buy it? Like yeah, all the people who are Halo fans are going to buy it, but the people who may buy it, like our Walmart or Target, may not buy it because it's like, well, Why is this game like $40? I don't want to buy it. That's why they would probably bring it to LRG and say, hey, we want to make a physical of this. We don't want to release it to Target or Walmart because we don't think it's going to be that successful. So we're going to give it to you. And they will announce a physical release and see what happens. And it's only going to get released on Xbox, and it's going to be interesting if that will happen. But I mean, I would not be shocked if we get like Halo IP stuff and a full game like a physical release by LRG. But I mean, it's your choice if you want to support the company. For me, I'm picky, so I'm still going to support them. And I know some people are going to probably dislike this video just because of my stance. Because I mean, you gotta choose your battles. That's how it is. And that battle is automatically like nothing was going to change. I mean, even if and I think they're going to get sued, I believe. So I mean, something could happen. I mean, yeah, I heard Elon's gonna sue limited run games, but I mean, like, and I will say this as well: you reap what you sow, and I mean that. You do, and I do believe that. And I made mistakes. We all make mistakes, and this is just something limited run games has to get through. And you never know; things could happen, and they may get shut down, and that would be an L. And I understand people be all like cheering, "Yay, they're shut down!" But thing is, they're the only company where we may actually see, games we never would have expected to get a physical. Like even now, Persona 3 and Persona 4 are going to get physical releases on the Xbox. That just tells me more now that Persona 4 Arena Ultimax will get a physical release. Probably when they announce an Xbox port, they will do one at some point, digitally only, and then they're going to do a physical by LRG. And Persona 1 and 2 will get physical releases by LRG, I believe. At some point when they do, we release those games. So I would say a lot of Atlas games will get a very LRG type of release. Let's just say, if you know what I mean. It's going to be very limited, well, whatever limited means, because limited on games is an interesting word by limited, because there's even Streets of Rage 4, that whole controversy that happened where there was the limited one games once, and then they released another copy, the second print, and then they made a third print, and I mean, that pissed off a lot of people, but I would say as long as you never opened your Streets of Rage 4 Limited One Edition, you probably have something that's very collectible just because you never opened it, but most people did, and people started to sell those things off because they didn't want it, because they wanted to get the uh the last version, and then that version got like updates a couple of months ago. So yeah, I mean, it's not yeah, it's one of those type of games where a lot of people got annoyed, and I'm just like, well, it's you should know about the game at launch. I mean, you should always be careful what you buy, and that's what I am. I always try to make sure I buy stuff that's complete and doesn't have DLC. If it's like some add-ons like costumes and stuff, I don't really care. Or even like, characters, as long as it doesn't really affect the main storyline, I'm okay. But if it does, then I'll probably buy it digitally. That's just who I am. I'm very picky on what I buy, but I know some people aren't and they don't care. Like, who cares? I'm still going to buy this stuff. But it's your opinion. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to support me, go to my Odyssey channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you, scavengers.